Testament, I was reading the Old Testament. People had to ask for grace and mercy from God. God did not just give people grace. God does not give people mercy. God did not just be forgiving all the time. God didn't do that. He wasn't like that. Moses had to go on a mountain and ask for a whole nation of people to be forgiven because God was about ready to kill every single one of them. For everything they had done, for the golden calf that they made, because they had dirty laundry. They were bad. They did things that got themselves dirty and didn't make themselves clean, didn't try to keep themselves clean, keep their clothes clean, keep their spirit clean. And God said, I'm going to kill them all. I'm going to wipe them clean, start over new. Don't worry about it. Now this is the Old Testament. It's before grace and mercy. It never existed. But you as middle schoolers tonight can wake up every single morning and say, God, forgive me of my sins. God, forgive me of what I've done wrong today. I want to go to heaven. I want to be clean. I want to be pure. I want you to make me clean every single day. Wipe the slate clean. Everything I did wrong yesterday is gone. Everything I'm going to do wrong today, I can ask forgiveness for, and it's gone. Arguing with my parents. Not listening to what they say. Not listening to the youth pastor. Not listening to my friends. Not listening to my teachers. Stealing, taking stuff. It's all gone. But back then it wasn't. It didn't operate that way. God would look at you and say, you know what you're doing wrong? I'm going to kill you. I'm going to take you, get rid of it. So like I said, we go forward and Jesus steps onto the picture. He goes in front of God and says, God, look, they're human. You made them. You know they're imperfect. They've got things wrong. They're going to get dirty. They're going to get dirty. Don't just take them and put them in the washing machine without anything. Don't just take their dirty clothes and put it in there and just wash it off with water and still be in that mess, still be in that stuff. Let me come to the picture and let these two things come. Let me come down from heaven, experience what they experience to show you that this is where they need to be. So God said, okay, so Jesus came down. He did his ministry. He died on the cross. And the blood that was shed, once he shed that blood, it covered us. It was grace and mercy born. If you look through the Old Testament, you look up in the Old Testament, in it, you will find nowhere in the Old Testament that God really showed grace and mercy without someone having to beg for it. Without them having to almost ask for it. And plead and say, God, show me mercy. God, show me grace. God, show me. Give it to me. Now we don't have to ask for it because it's there. It's right here. So grace and mercy equals forgiveness. Now this is how I'm going to relate it to the washing machine. The cool part about grace and mercy is one has to be there with the other. Mercy is an act of kindness or compassion or favor. My definition of mercy, my personal definition, is God allowing our sins to be washed away so we can have His grace to give others. If you just put your dirty clothes in the washing machine without soap and try to wash them, not much is going to come out. You're still going to have sin. You're still going to have dirty stuff because you're not truly getting rid of it. You have to throw it away. You have to throw the piece of clothing away because it's no good. So mercy comes into the picture. It washes us clean. It's the soap. It gets rid of the dirt in our lives. Mercy is what God covers us with. So when God says, when someone comes up and says, you know, I've got sin in my life. I've got gossip. I've got this sin in my life. Jesus steps in the picture with mercy. He opens it up and says, and God looks at him and says, you know what? They're going to be dirty. They're still going to be dirty. Jesus steps in the picture and says, you know what? Let's see if there's any more in there. This is an old jar. Well, there you go. He comes in and he says, no, God. I died for mercy. I died so I could wash that out of them. I died so they wouldn't have to have that on them anymore. Mercy. every single time you do something wrong, every single time you argue with your parents, every single time you have a situation you're having a hard time facing, every time you dislike yourself, every time there's sin in your life, and you give it to God, as your dirty laundry, God will put it in there and start the water. But Jesus says, no, God, I want to make sure that it's gone. I want to make sure that it comes out of them. I want to make sure it doesn't come back again. So if you ask me about mercy, that's pretty much what mercy is. But where does grace fall in the picture then? If mercy and grace and you're related to a laundry machine, where does mercy fall in? I mean, grace fall in. Grace falls into this. Once you're clean, once you got the soap out of you, you still have to try to stay clean, right? You still have to try to stay fresh. You still have to try to stay new. If you ever try to wash your clothes without fabric softener, in about 2 or 3 days, they start smelling. Not bad. They just don't smell as good as they did when they came out of the dryer. So what you do is you take fabric softener, you pour it into the washing machine. I'm not going to do that one because we're still using it in the house. But you pour the fabric softener into the washing machine. And while all this stuff's washing out, Jesus comes in and says, okay, God, I've covered them up. They're clean. Now I'm going to try to get it to where they can keep these, stay clean longer. When you use fabric softener in the dishwasher, and you have a dishwasher, in the clothes washer, you take it out and you throw it in the dryer, it smells clean for a good, few weeks. The towels, everybody ever take a towel out of the dryer and just wrap it around and smell it? Yep. And then you put it in the closet. You put it in the closet, and sometimes if you get the right fabric softener, you can pull it back out again and just smell it. It still smells clean. That's what fabric softener does. So, what is grace then? What is grace? Grace is called favor or goodwill. This is the dictionary's version of it. My version of it is something something similar to it. It's God allowing us to show through you a way to fix your problems, a way for things to happen, a way that you can continue, once you're way out of the dryer, to try to stay sin-free. Because I guarantee you, Miss Hayward, fine.